This is the Digital Trust Podcast. In every episode, we strive to bring support to those of you who serve on the front lines and in the trenches of data and technology. We endeavor to bring understanding to the under-resourced and underappreciated, help remove your stress, and provide relief to your pain. Welcome to the Digital Trust Podcast. Sit down with us as we give you hard-hitting advisory conversations to help you build digital trust with your stakeholders and clients, and actionable takeaways to help you become a digitally trustworthy organization.
Thank you once again for joining us on the Digital Trust Podcast. We have with us today Maria Orellana. She is the OT Product Manager of Lansweeper, all the way from Catalonia, Spain. Maria, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Good to have you. So we're going to be talking about something called operational technology today. And maybe you could just start, Maria, by giving us just a brief description of what operational technology is.
Yes, of course. Operational technology, or OT, refers to the hardware and software system used to monitor and control physical processes in industrial environments. These include everything from manufacturing processes to utility and building management systems. Unlike IT, which deals with data and communications, OT is focused on the physical operations and machinery.
Yeah, so the cyber physical systems.
Exactly.
And can you unpack just a little bit, just for context, for those viewers and listeners who don't really maybe have a full understanding of IT versus OT? What does operational technology look like in some of those sectors that you mentioned? You know, utilities, manufacturing, cities and municipalities, those types of environments.
Yes. Of course. In manufacturing, OT includes a control system that automate assembly lines and manage manufacturing processes. An example could be in a brewery sector, in a brewery company. OT system control the brewing process from mixing ingredients to bottling the final product. And in utilities, OT involves systems that produce and deliver electricity, for example, manage lighting or control heating. Another example could include power grids management systems, smart meters for electricity and water usage or consumption, and automate control systems for wind turbines and solar panels. In large buildings, OT system manage AC, for example, or lighting and security system. And in cities and municipality, OT is crucial for infrastructure, such as water supply system, sewer management, and traffic light controls. Yes. Another example could be a SCADA system for water treatment plants, automated traffic signals control system, etc.
So thank you for laying that out, Maria. And I'm just thinking about these systems in terms of what kind of actual physical devices that are within these systems. Is it a combination of, brand new technologies? I would imagine a ton of legacy systems in there as well, and some leased, rented equipment, or a combination of the above?
You're right. OT encompasses a wide range of devices, such as industrial control system, ICS, programmable logic controllers, PLCs, SCADA systems, and other equipment critical to functioning of manufacturing plants. Some examples of OT devices include, you can imagine a cabinet, like a PLC with various modules, drive, remote I/O units, low meter, car scanners, and other components typically found in industrial cabinets on the production floor. And these devices can be categorized into 3 layers of connectivities: and new greenfield technologies, legacy system, and hybrid environments with rented or outsourced equipment.
Thank you for that. And so when we're talking about OT, usually there's an IT component interface as well. So can you talk a little bit about the OT-IT convergence and give some examples of those converged networks?
Yeah, the convergence of IT and OT is transforming how industrial environments operate today. Traditionally, IT and OT were separate domains. IT
Yes.
deals with data-centric computing systems, while OT focus on the physical processes and devices in industrial settings, right? However, integrate these two realms in creating new opportunities and challenges. I will get to that in a minute. OT convergence involves interacting IT systems with OT to create more cohesive and efficient operations. The example of this is include using IT network management tools to monitor OT devices, right? And this is the kind of opportunities because also we can integrate cybersecurity measures from IT into OT
Yes.
environments to protect against threat.
Yes.
So, and also create challenges too.
Visibility is something that I wanted to talk to you about today because that is key with IT systems and everything to do with cybersecurity. Obviously, you need to have visibility as an OT department. What are some of the challenges, Maria, with visibility into the OT environment?
Okay, you say that visibility is crucial because if we want to protect something, we need to have the visibility and also allows organization to understand what assets they have, where they are, and their status, right?
Yes.
And OT department has that responsibility without having the complete visibility. So that complicates security and maintenance efforts for those teams. And the challenges consist in what you said in the beginning, right? A legacy system, that is something that is a challenge in OT. Also, proprietary technologies that are not easily integrated. And additionally, each vendor typically has its own inventory platform, making it difficult to get a unified view. So
Yes.
challenges include dealing with multiple OT technology vendors, out-of-date inventory method like annual Excel files inventories, and the needs to balance network traffic concerns in OT environments, ensuring visibility without overwhelming the network is also critical.
Yes. So clearly a visibility gap is present in OT environments. So then the next logical thought in my mind is what will close that gap? My thought is being able to see the assets and manage those assets. I guess OT asset management. What are some of the advantages of being able to manage your OT assets?
Well, yeah, you're right. That is something that can close the gap, OT asset management. And if you have an effective OT asset management, that enables seamless integration of IT and OT system because improves system interoperability and efficiency. Also ensures quick identification of potential issues, right? Because you can monitor those. And enhance operational efficiency and safety, allow better planning of maintenance schedule, for example, or resource allocations, and also support a lot the regulatory compliance.
So what are the actual best practices or the categories and steps of best practices for OT asset management?
Yeah, the first thing is the asset discovery, right? So identifying all the assets that you have in your environment could be an automatic way to scan those or to identify those. But the asset discovery is the first key piece. The second one is the asset inventory management, because after you have the visibility or you know what assets you have, you would like to also regular tracking and categorizing those assets for efficient resource allocation, also team collaboration, closing gaps between IT teams and OT teams, and for sure increase the security posture. And finally, the third element is the cybersecurity, right? Understanding assets can also help you to assess and mitigate vulnerabilities.
That makes complete sense. So with asset discovery, with cybersecurity, and then the second one you mentioned, inventory management, Why are they so important?
Well, I said asset discovery allow you to identify the assets, right? To have the visibility, and then the asset inventory management help you to categorize the asset and regular tracking, and also collaborate better between teams, and mainly between IT and OT teams that in some aspects or in some companies are disconnected. Yeah.
That makes sense in terms of what the best practices are. So how does one go about doing this? How does one actually successfully scan for OT assets?
That is a good one. Scanning OT assets involve using specialized tools that can discover and monitor these assets without disrupting the operational processes. And in OT, the main goal is to avoid downtimes and risks, right? So there are two well-known mechanisms. One is the passive scanning, and another one is the active scanning. The passive scanning in OT, this method involves monitoring network traffic without sending any package to the device. It listens to the communication between devices to gather all the information about them. Instead, the active scanning, this approach involves actively sending queries to the device to gather the information. It needs to be carefully managed to avoid introducing any risk or downtime. And normally with active scanning, you get more details about the device.
My mind is going to something that you mentioned earlier, which is security as a best practice,
Yeah.
preceded by visibility. So with securing OT environments, what are some unique challenges to OT security specifically?
Complexity of OT systems. OT systems often include a wide range of devices and technologies, okay, many of which are highly specialized and interconnected. This complexity make it difficult to implement standardized security measures across the entire environment.
Right.
We also mentioned legacy system. Again, many OT environments rely on legacy systems that were not designed with modern cybersecurity trends in mind, you know? And these older systems may lack the necessary security features and can be difficult to update or patch without disrupting operations. Then we have proprietary protocols and technology. And the last one I would say, downtime sensitive. OT environments are typically highly sensitive to downtime. Interruptions to the operational or industrial control system can lead to significant damages, financial or production, etc. So yeah, this is something that may challenge the security in OT environment.
The security gap, perhaps.
Yeah.
We could refer to the OT security gap. For actual OT cyber attacks or OT attacks that are happening and have happened in recent days, what are you seeing in terms of how they're getting in? Is it mainly still primarily on the IT side, IT, and then over into the OT environment?
Yeah, this is a great question. Threat actors often gain initial access through vulnerabilities in IT systems. That is the truth. Leveraging techniques such as phishing, malware, or exploiting weaknesses in software. However, once they are inside the network, they increasingly target OT environments. So that convergence that we spoke before between IT and OT networks has expanded the attack surface, allowing threat actors to pivot from compromised IT system to critical OT assets, you know.
Maria, with what you were saying about the visibility gap and the security gap in OT, once a threat actor gets inside of an OT system, what are some of the impacts that we will expect to see there?
I can list some of them. The first one I get to my mind is the operational disruption. Once the cyber attack is in the OT environment, can lead to significant interruptions in operations, causing production downtimes and financial losses. Then the safety hazard. Uncontrolled access and manipulation of OT systems can result in dangerous situations, posing risk of physical harm to personnel and damage to equipment. Then we have financial cost. Recovery from cyber attacks often involves substantial financial expenses, including ransom payment, system restorations, and potential regulatory fines. Then we have the data export. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just laughing. It sounds terrible.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Yeah, but it's true. Then the data exposure that breaches can expose sensitive information such as proprietary operational processes, and confidential business data, leading to regulatory penalties, reputational damage, and loss of competitive advantage. And the final one is the reputational damage. Public knowledge of cyber attacks and data breaches can erode trust and damage the organization's reputation, impacting customer relationship.
That is such an important part to lay out. And as our time comes to an end, Maria, I really hate to end on such a negative note here. Can we leave the viewers and listeners with a little bit of hope? Maybe bring us back to those best practices and what we can do to prevent cyber attacks from happening in OT environments, get that visibility, and reduce the impact, and actually detect those malicious actors once they're in the environment.
Yeah, sure. No, let's try to do it. The first thing that I will recommend to the OT departments is have the visibility and control, right? Provides comprehensive visibility is essential for industrial assets. Then identification and vulnerabilities assessment, that's something that they can do through certain tools in the market. Then implementation of security measures, facilitate the implementation of security measures to ensure optimal functionality and reduce the likelihood of successful cyber attacks. Monitoring and maintenance, that is pretty basic, enables continuous monitoring and maintenance from detention, right? And then enhance accountability and transparency, making easier to audit and improve security protocols. Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving us hope and for giving us some actionable, practical takeaways there, Maria. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on OT with us today. And thank you to you, the viewers and listeners, for joining us in this conversation. We will see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us today on the Digital Trust Podcast. If you found this conversation helpful, please share it with someone you care about. And if you'd like to receive our monthly newsletter, please click the link in the description to subscribe. And to put your mind at ease, our newsletter will include episode summaries with key points and actionable takeaways, plus a heads up on the upcoming episode guests. Rest assured, it won't be a spammy sales message, and we will never sell or share your information. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.